Welcome to A Double
and
Dice
with your host Kim.
and Jocelyn.
Pour your favorite beverage,
Pull up a comfy chair.
because we are ready to roll.
Welcome to episode 69 of A Double and Dice. And today, Jocelyn and I are... Wait, why is it so quiet? Jocelyn? Jocelyn? Hello? Where is that girl? She should be on here. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hey, Kim. I'm
Matt?
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt. I know you're recording right now, but I don't know if you're aware, but Jocelyn's not around today.
What are you talking about? It's our recording night.
She's actually at the Wizkids 2022 World Championships in Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, look at her. Lucky ducky.
Yeah, so she won't be here. So I don't know. You probably can't do your regular podcast. Maybe just throw one of those little clip shows where you record an outro and an intro and throw something in the middle, some audio maybe.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. That sounds good. Thanks, Matt.
I am here at Wizkids World Championships with expert judge Nick Wally, Jackalope Spam. How are you, Nick?
Apparently I'm an expert, so that's pretty cool.
I think you are. You're doing pretty well so far, I think.
Yeah, it's easy to answer draft questions and not complicated things.
Especially when you're only drafting one set, so you only need to know about Superman Kryptonite Crisis.
Yeah, that's very true. Although, shout out to the Rules Forum committee, whoever is behind that. It's not me.
I know
think,
it's not you.
Yeah, I think a lot of the questions that needed to be answered have been answered. And if you didn't ask me those questions to get them submitted, well, that's where it's going to be fun tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. But I think we've got good grasps on how card text should be interpreted and used for the weekend.
We did get some really good rulings from the Rules Forum, and I have to say you asked some really good questions, and not to pat myself on the back, I asked some really good questions.
Yeah, we may not have always liked some of the answers, but it is an answer, and we know how it should be done.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, right? The activity in the Rules Forum leading up to this weekend, which is September 15th to 18th here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Today is Thursday, and there's been a lot of activity over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been a busy Rules Forum, and they came in giant batches.
Yeah.
I think it speaks very good for the game at the moment of there's activity, there's hype. We just need Secret Wars, and it can't be soon enough.
Yeah.
But we just got Kryptonite Crisis not too long ago, so I'll chill out.
So, it's Thursday. Today is drafting for Dice Masters. There's no official World Champion, U.S. National Championship, other types events, right? We're just drafting.
That is correct. Today is just drafts.
And
tomorrow is drafts with the U.S. National.
Yep.
Saturday is going to be drafts with the Worlds, and then about the same time as the Top Cut will be the Global Escalation. So it might actually be pretty tame for Global Escalation because the top players are not playing in it, most likely.
Maybe.
And then Sunday is a nice chill popper with drafts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tons of drafts.
Lots and lots of drafts, drafting all the products.
Yeah.
As much as we can draft.
There are a number of cases back there.
Excellent. A large number, I hope.
Yeah, a large number.
Yeah. So, obviously we haven't seen any of the competitive teams yet, and we'll chat again later in the weekend, but do you have any thoughts on what the winner might be? Not the person, but the team.
Okay. Leading up to this, I've kind of told everyone that's asked the same thing, so you've probably heard this the second or third time now, but I think the teams that you need to be able to beat are going to be the speedy Master Mold or the speedy Barry Allen. And if you can't beat those, you're not going to be the champion.
Yeah.
I don't think the champion is necessarily going to be one of those because the mirror match is all about luck and rolls, and that's not a good way to win a tournament. I think some people definitely have tricks up their sleeve to stall out. And I'm hoping they have tricks up their sleeve to stall out those speedy win cons and then win in the later games. So more of a mid-range team.
Yeah, it's tough because this meta is very fast in all the testing that I've done, and there's not a lot of control that I've been able to hang out with that's been able to stick around in the field long enough to hold out. A lot of the control is like while active, or it requires spinning something out or rolling something out, and again, there's a lot of luck there.
Yeah, or there's a force attack that is going to be on that Barry Allen Master Mold team, and you got to be able to not get force attacked, which is going to be hard when there isn't distraction.
Yeah, there's no static field type global where you pay a mask and target attacking character that is no longer attacking. So there are some interesting things that I've seen in testing. It'll be interesting to see what comes ahead. It'll also be interesting to see how much changes between U.S. Nationals on Friday and Worlds on Saturday.
Yeah, I think listening to some of the other content creators, the speculation of who's going to show their hands on Friday is going to be interesting. I think there are some players who are going to play the same team both days, and then there are going to be players who, get a feel, make modifications, and change for Saturday. And some players probably already know what they're going to change for the most part.
Yeah. And a lot of people traveled in to come to this event. They've come from far places, they've come on airplanes, and they may not have brought their entire collections with them.
Yeah. Some people even came from Canada, I hear.
There's a whole Canadian contingent. Woo! They're not all here. We're standing where we're far away from people. But
yeah, I think there is a significant percentage of Canadians playing in the Dice Masters events this weekend. So congratulations.
Yep.
Will the true champion of the weekend be Canadian? Tune in to find out.
That's right. Well, thanks, Nick, for taking some time. I know you've got another draft to fire off here. So appreciate that. We'll check in later in the weekend.
Yeah, I'll see you around.
Thanks.
All right, we're getting super meta here. We've both started recording simultaneously in this incredible meta event where Double and Dice and Rollin' Thunder clash head-to-head. Jocelyn.
Oh, my gosh. Are we clashing?
Well, I don't know. It sounds much more dramatic that way.
The clash of the podcast.
And the clash of the podcast.
Yes.
In the most congenial of ways.
Absolutely, because we're Dice Masters players, and I'm Canadian, so we can't be too clashy.
No, they're too clashy. Well, the American in me has to clash, so there we are.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Well, real quick, I know I don't want to steal your thunder, so to speak. You're just about to interview Craig here, but I wanted to give you a chance to promote your incredible dice bag building business. Tell us a little bit about it. So any of you who haven't heard of it, I can highly recommend the quality and the just artistic integrity of your dice bags.
Well, thank you so much for that, Arj, and I really appreciate that. So I do have an Etsy store, and in my spare time I like to make dice bags for our favorite hobby here at Dice Masters. So I have all kinds of superhero-themed fabrics and Dungeons & Dragons themed fabrics and things like that, and you get to customize them. So you pick your outside fabric and your inside fabric, and then I tie it all together. And they're all round, so there's no corners for your dice to get stuck in, and they're flat bottom, so they can sit on the table and you don't have to worry about them falling all over the place.
Which is one of the coolest aspects, I think, of the thing. They're really, really neat. If you haven't seen them, you can go to Etsy.com/shop/JoceStitch, JOCE Stitch. And that's where you can see most of the fabrics. Not everything's up. I have some new stuff that hasn't been printed yet. Awesome. And I just for the record, I'm getting no kickbacks for this. So
no kickbacks for Arj or Rollin' Thunder. Maybe for Lucan.
Maybe for Lucan, yes.
Maybe to help out his college fund.
He needs it. Well, God help us. Me and my wife, we're the ones who need it. We got 2 in college right now, and it's a sled ride right now.
Student loan programs? Student loan
Don't
debt?
get me started.
Okay, never mind.
So that voice you hear there is Craig Humer, Dice Masters stalwart. Been around since the very beginning, I hear.
I wish I could say that honestly, but I don't know. I truly don't know.
He has. You've been down around from Baby X.
Yeah. I mean, it was one of those deals for me, just where I went to a Magic event and the people that I knew at the store were really just good friends, and they said, oh, dude, this wonderful Marvel new game came out from Wizkids, and so I was able to buy it for the first week that it released. But then, you know, the ability to go to events has been so varied from the beginning to now that I just can't remember if I've actually gone to all events or not. I really don't.
I think you were at the very first Worlds at Nats. I remember seeing you on the. I think you've been to every one because I was at the second one and you were there, right?
I think.
Yeah, because I remember
so.
seeing you on the videos. I wasn't at the first one, so I can't swear for it. But I remember seeing you.
Yeah.
You know, walking around there.
Yeah.
And Robert knew you from there, so
yeah,
it had to be.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, my first one was 2018 Canadian Nationals, and then 2019 Canadian Nationals and Worlds. So, and then of course, you know, the world blew up, and now here we are once again, 3 years later, in Memphis again, all together, and ready to play some awesome Dice Masters.
Already doing it, doing the best thing, I think.
Yeah.
We're drafting, which is my favorite part.
How have your drafts gone so far, Arj?
My drafts have been great. They've been two really exciting, close games. I was able to kind of pull it out at the end, but, you know, that's only because of the dice gods. But, you know, that's what's fun. You meet new people, or you can meet old friends that I haven't seen for a long time now because of the pandemic, and you know, it just makes you feel alive. And that's what I come here to do. So.
And Craig and I played in the first round together.
Yeah, so how did it go?
Was that our first game
Ever.
We'd never played together. We've talked, of course, lots of times. And you were here in 2019, and you were top 8. You were.
Yeah.
You were top 8. And yeah, so now we got to finally play against each other, and Craig managed the win there.
What were you running, Craig?
What was I running that first game? I don't even know. The Shazam rare.
Ooh, you had that.
Range.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's all the dice range too.
How'd you get up to it?
Well, I think I lucked out with having 2 lowest dice in a draw that both came up, both double energy, so that gave me enough to get to it. But Jocelyn's not revealing, though, that my range 2 was worthless and meaningless because she was playing with the anti-monitor, knockout characters. I have to knock out characters.
Oh, good.
And so she swung big, and then just with the
Whittled
other
field.
times to try and whittle me down, she was knocking out her characters, so my range was meaningless.
Wow, what
it
a fun
didn't do
game.
anything.
Until the end, right? Because then my anti-monitor
there was
whiffed,
3.
and I kept some people in hopes that maybe it would work out, but anyway, it was a very close game.
And seems like great tactics and strategy. So what more can you ask from her?
Yeah.
The only challenge with my first 2 drafts here is that I drafted 2 identical draft packs.
Oh, right.
So my first draft pack against Craig came out with a super rare Joker, which is, I'm sorry, it's not a good super rare. It is a bad super rare, friends. And I passed it, even though I don't have it in my collection, because it's not a good super rare.
That's why you got it the second time. You know that, right?
I know.
The gods were trying to teach you
The gods were trying
something.
to tell me that I should never pass a super rare.
There you go.
So the second pack came out. I opened it up, identical to a T. So I drafted it, and then I still lost. But I had a fun time. I got to play against Dana, fellow Canadian, who actually lives not far from me, and I'd never met him in person before.
Wow, yeah.
So-
He was saying that this was his first in-person event, which I couldn't believe because General Nemesis is his handle, right?
Yeah.
And I've seen him all over the place in the last few years, so I figured he was a long time, you know. So when he said
got in right before the pandemic, and then we haven't had a lot of in-person events in Canada. Our restrictions have been very tight up there,
Right.
With the pandemic. So we have just started doing them, and it just hasn't worked out with the schedule. But hopefully he'll be able to come out sometime.
yeah.
Well, now, so since Toronto is such a big metropolis, honestly, is it that when you say he lives close to me, is it really convenient and close enough that you guys would get together for in-person events?
I mean, it is close enough, but there's this meme that's going around the internet right now that says it's got a picture of the traffic, and it says Toronto is an hour away from Toronto. So, you know, it's pretty accurate.
Right.
And of course, I'm really pronouncing Toronto because I'm here in the States, but in Canada we call it Toronto.
Toronto.
There's no extra T. It's there. It's the silent T.
Right.
So anyway, but yeah, so you guys are having a good time. Are you looking forward to the big events?
Yeah. I mean, I like to play, but
I'm looking forward to the Popper event on Sunday. The Worlds and Nationals, and it's not to knock the game. I love the game, but the pricing for it is not anything that would motivate me to really worry about those tournaments. But the Pauper event on Sunday has a prize offering for the full arts from the current
That'd be
set.
nice.
That's really what I want to be able to.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Pauper. Pauper will be fun. I haven't had really practiced at all this time, so I'm looking forward to playing and hanging with people. I don't expect to, perform all that well, so, I can make a game of it with some people. I'm hoping that's all I can try.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're looking to do, right? We're just here to have fun and to hang out with the people we haven't seen in so long. And that's what I'm doing right now, and it's been fantastic, and I'm super glad that I had the chance to hang out with both of you guys today, and hopefully you and I get to play at some point.
I hope so. Yeah, have we not played? I can't
don't
believe
think
it.
we
Maybe
played.
not.
I don't think we played.
I've got to play Rob, I think,
Yes.
and Petrus for sure. I'm trying to remember all the Canadians. I played Laurier at least once. So yeah, maybe not. Yeah,
But maybe it'll come around this time.
maybe so.
Yeah.
And
Well, so Jocelyn, you are going to be HeroClicking tomorrow.
That's
So
right.
you're going to be in the Worlds,
I will be at Worlds, yes.
and then what other events?
So drafting today, obviously. Tomorrow I will be at Heroclix Team Sealed, which is Friday. If that goes well, then that'll be all day. And if not, then I might be able to get some drafts in. And then Saturday would be Worlds and or drafting, depending on how well or poorly that goes. And then Sunday I'm going to be doing Heroclix. I had planned to do Heroclix today, but the registration was a little bit challenging earlier today, and I did not make the cut for the Heroclix event I wanted. So I'm doing it on Sunday instead. Doesn't mean I'm missing out on Pauper, which I was excited about, but the Heroclix event and the prizing is really good, so I definitely want to give it a shot. So.
Yeah, no, they definitely treat the Clicks players well here. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of plans for Dice Masters. They've talked a little bit about it when we were at Gen Con, and I think we're going to hear a lot about that at the fan appreciation event tomorrow night. And I think Wizkids is keeping it pretty close to the vest, as I think you probably know. So, are just nodding knowingly, which you can't see on the podcast. But I'm sure we will all be taking lots of pictures and getting all that information out.
I'm looking forward to it.
Before you even hear this podcast. And we'll expect more from Rolling Thunder Urge.
Oh yeah. Well, we get to it. It's only little old me now, so I get to it as I can get to it. But we'll have a podcast coming out here shortly after things. And so
Fantastic. And that can be found at rollingthunder.xyz, no apostrophe, no G.
exactly /XYZ, no apostrophe, no G. Where's Lucan when I need him?
Well, Lucan's not here yet, but he will be here later.
He's coming. He had a little snafu with the taxi driver and just tucked into the airport in time. Last I heard, he was dashing to his gate. So,
All right. Well, hopefully we will talk to Lucan tomorrow. Thanks, Art.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Greg.
No, thank you.
and here we go. Meta it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
we're
in.
all rolling. This is, hold on, buckle your seatbelts, folks, because right now we don't have one podcast going, not two podcasts, but three major podcasts. The major players.
I don't know. I'm here with the Ministry of Dice, so more like two major podcasts. I'm also here, though.
Is anybody here representing Dice Masters United?
No.
Okay, well, we have three. We got Rolling Thunder,
We have a double in dice.
and we've got the Ministry of Dice via Andy here.
It's Andy May. I'm here for the Ministry of Dice.
And we're all happening at the same time. This is like time-space continuity problem going on here. I don't know if there's going to be some major feedback going on in the world, but it's all happening at once.
There's a ripple in the
right
matrix.
now.
Ripple in the matrix, people.
All right. Well, how are you guys feeling about today? Are you guys ready to rock and roll?
I feel like I am, but I'm waiting to be sure. I don't know what I'm going to see for sure. Yeah.
I'm playing Heroclix today.
So it's
it's like a bow out.
Yeah, so I'm going over to play in what's called World's Team Sealed, and myself and Emily and Asia, two other Canadian women Heroclix players, are playing in the Team Sealed event, and what that means is that we get a brick of product, we build 3 random teams out of it, and then we play 3 other components. So hopefully it goes well. I've never played in it before. I'm really excited. But I'm here supporting Rob. Rob is playing today, so hopefully it will go well.
Well, good luck with that. How are you? How is Rob feeling about the situation today?
I think we're all surprised, right? Like, we don't know what we're going to see, but there's a lot of guesses, right? Like master molds and berries and Thors, oh my.
Right.
But I guess we'll see.
Any thoughts, Mandy, for last?
I think you've pretty much hit it on the head. I think we're going to see Master Mold. I think we're going to see Barry. And I think we're going to see a couple of weirdos show up with, not that they're weirdos, but a couple of weirdo teams show up that will surprise us. But I'm not sure that anything can be competitive with those. I'm happy to be surprised.
I hope we're surprised. What about you, Arj?
Yeah, I think that's the good analysis. Like I said, I haven't been playtesting it all, so. But you never know. Sometimes somebody figures out like the secret sauce.
Yeah. And I hope that we see that. I think we're going to see a lot of global abilities today.
Yeah. So maybe a little global hate is going to be powerful if they can get out there and keep it stuck in the field somehow. You know?
I think that Jean Grey is a nice piece to add to anybody's team right now.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, especially if they whiff the first time through, then they can't quite set up the way they want it to again. So.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of luck in these games. A lot of, if you miss your roll, then you're on the back foot and you've got to crawl your way back up. So.
Yep.
Yeah, and do you have the piece that you need when you whiff that roll to hold off your opponent for long enough?
Yep. Well, that's the one beauty of this. These days get really long. And if the games go fast, there's some mercy in that, I think. So, anyway, thank you guys for agreeing to, blow up the universe, so to speak.
Absolutely.
Our pleasure. Thanks. So I am here with Craig Hubner, past guest of the podcast, and we are at the Graceland Exhibition Center, where we have spent the last you've spent the last couple of days playing Heroclix, or playing Dice Masters. I played Heroclix yesterday. So how has things been going for you, Craig?
Okay, I'm going to say this for Kim's benefit because she's not here with us. I just spent a good 2 minutes, I guess I'll say, bearing my soul to you about some frustrations. But with all of that being said, this is still it's wonderful to be able to take a whole weekend to just play a game that I love. And I do love it because it's just a great game, and then you add in great people, and it's just a fun time no matter what really is happening within the game.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you played in some drafts?
Yeah, the first night that we were able to play, there were about 4 drafts held, and I was able to participate in all of those. Then the next day was really the focus on U.S. Nationals. Had an opportunity to play a team that I just really wanted to play.
Good.
Enjoyed that experience. Then we did do a couple drafts after that, had the fan appreciation event. And then the current day that we're in, was able to participate in the World's Champion. And then we've had at least 2 drafts now.
Yeah, a couple of drafts,
that we've been able to do.
Yeah.
So it really has been a full day for me, even though right now there's probably 10 people still playing competitive Dice Masters, and they've been playing since this morning at 9. And so it's just been all day, each day.
Yeah, absolutely. And where we are right now is we are, Top Cut is happening for Worlds. It's the final. And it is the Battle of Canada. So the world champion will be Canadian, which we will probably announce later on this podcast.
So is Laurier from a province that is different from the province that Dana is from?
Yes.
So this is a true Toronto, Montreal?
It is Toronto, Gatineau.
Oh, okay.
So Ottawa is the Ontario side, and then you go across the river and you're in Gatineau. So it is truly a battle of provinces and not just a battle of Canada. So it's pretty good. It's pretty exciting to see what's going to be happening. It is a Master Mold v Master Mold match, and at this point, Dana is undefeated on the weekend in the tournament. He took the U.S. National Championship yesterday, and he beat Laurier in Swiss. So it's interesting to see what will happen, and you'll probably have heard by the time this podcast comes out. But if you haven't, then spoiler alert, it's coming soon. So yeah. So did you enjoyed your teams that you were playing, Craig?
Yeah. The ability to put together a meta team to truly just compete was not something that I felt I really needed to worry about because I have been participating in a community in the St. Louis area where there is one solidly stalwart individual with me that will come to any event that he can. And Brandon, he may be out there for the community that listens to this. They know he's a great player, but you know, the competitive part of the game is not as interesting when we're just the two of us goofing around. So it's about having fun. So when I come here, I've not practiced competitive. So I really enjoyed the Bizarro, even for competitive, only having one die and that first turn Bizarro shenanigans that you can do. So I truly used the team for the U.S. Nationals. That was a Bizarro team, and of course I lost all my 5 matches. But you know, there were opportunities in those with the dice rolls and the bag draws that I could have won, but just really luck did not weigh out.
And that happens, because it happened to me today too. So, you know, I had a really great time playing in Worlds, and I enjoyed playing in Team Worlds for Heroclix yesterday, and it's been a really great weekend for me, bridging the 2 games that I love, and playing here with all these like-minded folks.
So how did you focus on your build then for today?
Today, I finished my build this morning. So I wasn't sure what I wanted to play. I had access to a Master Mold, to a Thor, to a Barry Allen, and I had practiced with all of those, with various other pieces as support. And because I wasn't playing yesterday, Rob chose to play the Master Mold, and he did pretty well with it. He made top 8, and I, you know, felt that, you know, we talked about it, and we decided he was going to play it again today. I had the opportunity to. We chatted about it, and I said, no, you've got the practice with it. I don't have the practice with that in this meta. I'm going to play Thor, because that's what I'm most comfortable with. And I won my first game, and I lost my second game. I won my third game. I lost my fourth game.
Well, yeah, but was that 4th game the one too, Rob?
No, that was the 5th game.
Oh, okay. So the day was ended.
Yeah, the day was ended with a couple of losses there. So, but yeah, so I lost to a Master Mold, to Laurier himself, in fact, in my second round. I lost to Patrick's team, which is a Harley Quinn super rare team, and I think I could have played that game better in hindsight. One of the things I had done with my team build today is seeing how many globals were floating around yesterday, is I chose to take off Dark Phoenix for the Bolt Global, for the ramp, and instead put on Mr. Mine to copy when attacks abilities. And I mean, a meta call. Patrick and I, neither of us had the Dark Phoenix Global. His win con was a 5 cost and mine was a 6 cost, and that just made the difference. I probably could have played my first turn differently, and that may have made a difference in the game, but it also may not have, because as we know, this game comes down to rolls. So yeah, and then my last game was against Rob, as it usually is. Usually happens that way. We're either last game of Swiss or first game of Top Cut. It was hard fought. I whiffed my Thor 3 times in a row, like double rolls, like roll, re-roll, roll, re-roll, roll, re-roll. If it hadn't done that, I might have had a chance. It was a very close game. I had a great time playing all of my opponents. Everyone has been fantastic, and that's always my experience playing Dice Masters. I don't have any bad things to say about playing in the Dice Masters community. So
I'm sorry for your listeners. I want to react to that, though, because you've drafted twice against the kind of knucklehead that keeps bringing a rare Shazam each time he drafts against you.
It's this knucklehead named Craig Hubner. I don't know. He keeps drafting this rare Shazam. I mean, in fairness, I had the opportunity in that second draft, Craig, to draft a rare Bizarro, and I could have put 8 dice on that card. However, that pack also included a super rare Harley, and super rare Harley needed to be in our collection, so I made that meta call. However, it was a close game. Every game I've had against you has been close and hard fought, so I've really enjoyed all of it. Yeah.
And that's the joy of it. You know, you're rolling the dice, you're doing the best you can with the result you get, seeing how you can optimize, and then all of us leave the day going, oh, geez, if only I hadn't misplayed that one option. Oh, I hadn't misplayed that one turn. Oh, if only I hadn't. But that's just the part of the game.
Yeah, and I don't feel badly about it. I didn't make a bad call.
Yeah.
It was a good turn. It could have been better, and it may not have made any difference. So, but yeah, it's been good.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
yeah, so got to play against a couple of master molds and a couple of other things, so not so bad.
All right. So only because I think I've been privy to a little preview of your weekend total. Dice Masters is now over for you for the weekend then?
It is, yeah. Tomorrow I will be playing in a Heroclix event. As some people may have heard, the registration was a little bit challenging here on Thursday, and as a result I missed out on registering for the event on Thursday. So I will not be playing in Pauper tomorrow. But I will be here, and I will be chatting with folks before and after, and yeah, that's the end of Dice Masters unless there's time for a draft. Yeah.
Now, the friends that you had played with for
Yep.
the team event in HeroClix, are they going to be participating with you tomorrow? And that's
Well, I hope not, because my one friend Emily, who is the Canadian National Heroclix champion, is currently 4-0 in world singles right now. She has said she's low on points, but she is 4-0, so that does give her a pretty good chance, but she's up against other 168 other players. They're going to cut to top 32, and then top 32 will play tomorrow. So I hope that she makes that cut. I wish her all the best. And then Asia, who was playing with me in Team Worlds, is, I don't know what she's doing tomorrow. She took today off. She decided not to play in the competitive event and went to go play tourist in Memphis, so good for her.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so-
Yeah, get to enjoy some of what we have in the States.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
absolutely. There's a big music festival happening this weekend here in Tennessee called Cooper's Young Festival or something in the Cooper's Young district.
Oh,
Yeah, I heard about it earlier in the week, but I had plans for this weekend. So,
yeah.
well, thanks, Craig, for taking some time to chat with me today.
No, it was wonderful playing with you again. Thank you so much for coming down.
Yeah, absolutely. We love to come down, and hopefully we will be able to come down very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Okay, I am here with Petrus, and Petrus is a fellow Canadian who has joined us down here in Memphis. How are you, fellow Canadian?
I'm good.
I'm glad to hear that. So you've been playing Dice Masters since Thursday,
Yes.
and what have you been able to participate in since you've been down here?
Pretty much everything except global escalation.
And that was because
I was in the top 8.
you were in the top 8 at Worlds. This
Yes.
is where we go celebrate. Yay!
Yeah, well, I will later when I have a drink.
Okay, all right. And you're talking to me now because we didn't make the final.
No, I did not. I was against Laurier.
Yeah, so if you haven't heard the standings yet, for this tournament, we had 2 Canadians, Dana and Rob, fighting off against 2 other Canadians, Petrus and Laurier, and then 2 sets of Americans in the middle. So Laurier took your match. And as we record this, Laurier is in the final against Dana. So later on in this podcast, you'll hear who wins. But how did your matches go against Laurier, Petrus?
I misplayed really hard during our first match, and that pretty much kind of went downhill from there. Because I couldn't basically... I spent my shield to... and I re-rolled it, and thinking I didn't need it, but I forgot that to look at his prep or something. It just didn't click in my head that he had a villainous pact in his prep. So I re-rolled the shield, and it didn't come something else what I wanted, but I actually still needed that shield to buy a Deken.
Right.
In order to
And Deken is the difference maker in this meta right now, because if you can keep Deken in your use pile, then you can only take a maximum of 7 damage on an opponent's turn. So that makes a huge difference in how these games go down. So it was we've all been there.
Yeah.
Right? But today was a better day for you than yesterday.
Oh yeah, much better.
Yesterday you played in U.S. Nationals.
Yes, I did.
And how did that one go?
I was number 13th.
Okay, 13 out of 21, right?
Yes.
That's still pretty good.
Yep.
And same team pretty well.
I actually teched in the Deken.
Yep.
After I saw it yesterday. I wasn't expecting it. I did play test with Shaheen.
Yep.
And we didn't look at Deken.
Yeah, It's an interesting piece. I've looked at it before when I was playtesting, but I didn't put it on my team because I didn't feel it would be easy enough to keep in my used pile. And I think that's the tricky part with that. So we definitely saw a lot more Deken today than we did see yesterday.
So for me, bag management was never an issue for me. I learned it the hard way. So bag management was very important after PXG was banned. And I was, if you don't know what PXG is, it's a global that allows you to move psychics over as many as you want, paying so you pay a mask, you move 2 psychics over to prep, and you can use that as much as you want. And so that's a global now banned, or not banned, but it's in golden age, so it's rotated out. So you had to learn how to use bag management when Resurrection was the major big thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of globals that help with bag management. And of course, most recently, we had the Clayface global in the previous meta, which allowed us to do a lot of things, keeping things in our used pile on our opponent's turn. And now we don't have that. So it's really interesting seeing what came out this weekend, and certainly that Master Mold was as prevalent as it turned out to be. So, and then you've been able to play a couple of drafts?
Yes, I played a lot of drafts.
Awesome. Yeah. So what do you like best about coming down? Because you came down in 2019.
Yeah. What I like about best is like the people and playing different styles and learning and just being a better Dice Masters player. Like, you learn from these mistakes. The last time, but you should learn from like every year, but since the last one was 2019, I kind of forgot these mistakes, so you kind of have to relearn again.
Yeah, it's always learning, right?
Yeah. But yeah, drafting, you can get super rares if you, whatever you need, like completing your collection or whatnot. I actually completed a lot more cards in my set than I was expecting.
Awesome. So if they hold a Worlds event down here again, would you come again if you had the opportunity?
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely like to go every year if I can.
And recommend it to everybody.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Like, everyone should come. It doesn't matter what your level is.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you are a novice player and you're uncertain, like I know yesterday in U.S. Nationals, there was a player who came who wasn't particularly competitive, really friendly guy. And, you know, we're always happy to have them, right?
Yeah,
like,
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Even in this event, we had Henry. And Henry's dad.
Yep.
And Henry was here in 2019. He's a little bigger now than he was then. He's a little taller. And
yes.
A little older. And I haven't had much of a chance to chat with him yet, but he's been holding his own.
Yes, he is.
So, he's playing in Global Escalation right now.
Yes.
So bring your friends, your family, bring everybody who's interested in Dice Masters. We would love to have you, and we're a friendly group, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody wants to talk about it further, they're more than welcome to message me on Discord. My handle is Unknown Force, and I usually do play online for the weekly Dice Arena.
Yep.
Not recently, since it coincides with my schedule.
Yeah, absolutely. But weekly Dice Arena is a great place to play some Dice Masters, casual and sometimes competitive, but mostly casual.
Yeah, and it's good to... I'm not sure if this has already been stated in the podcast, but it's good to learn about different cards and the level of cards and not using the same cards over and over again, so that you do look at these things. And if I didn't overlook that Deken, I wouldn't have been thrown off.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, congratulations, Peaches. You had a great showing. Canada was half of the top 8, and that was a quarter you. So all the best to you, and thanks again for hanging out.
Thank you.
I am here with Ryan, aka Raw Travel, who has arrived and the newest player at the World's scene here in Memphis, Tennessee. This guy showed up wearing a baseball cap and said, hi, and I recognized the voice, and I'm like, you're Ryan.
You knew me by my voice, that's right.
That's right, because I've heard you, of course, playing online with Weekly Dice Arena.
Yes.
And probably in Dice Social, too, I think.
Yeah, Dice Social a couple times, and I play some of the tournaments, like a 2-team takedown and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and online, you're Raw Travel.
Raw Travel online, yes,
and
everywhere.
What does that mean? Does it have a meaning?
It's the name of my company.
Okay.
RAW are my initials. Yep. Ryan A. Watkins.
Cool. So this is your first time coming to an in-person event?
Well, of this size, yeah. I've been to a couple of WKOs in Southern California, but not anything of this. I've never traveled like in an airplane to go to one, so it's very exciting for me.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how are you finding it so far?
It's amazing. It's so great to meet all the people that I've been playing with online and only known you by your hands and your voice.
Yeah.
So I get to see faces and talk to you, and it's been wonderful. That was the main reason I wanted to come.
Yeah.
Dice Masters is fun too.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a great weekend, right?
Yeah, it's been great.
That's what we found all in 2019, right? That was a big event. It was a little bit larger than this one.
Yeah.
Not massively larger, but a little bit larger. And we knew people's hands and faces, but we hadn't actually seen, or hands and voices, but we hadn't seen faces. So,
right.
You were a new face, which was great, and it was great to see that you made it out. So you flew in from Southern California, you said?
Yep. Now stop from LA.
Yeah, and you've been enjoying your time here. And what have you been able to do while you've been here?
Well, basically just back and forth from the hotel to the venue to play Dice Masters. I'm supposed to do a tour of Graceland tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be up for it after all of this. I may need a nap. But it's been great being at Graceland and seeing all the Elvis stuff. I didn't realize how much I like Elvis. So I'm now a big Elvis fan.
It's really fun being at Graceland, and it's a great venue for this event. So it's been pretty fantastic. They set it up pretty good.
Yeah, they do a good job.
Yeah. So what have you been able to play in?
Well, let's see. I played in the U.S. Nationals yesterday.
And how did that go?
That was dismal, just atrociously bad.
Well, we don't have to talk about it.
I won one game, and it was, I got lucky.
That's one more game than Craig won.
That's true. He's the one I beat. So, but honestly, I brought a team that was very far off of meta, and I wasn't expecting to win at all. I just wanted to play something other than Master Mold, basically.
Yep.
So mission accomplished. I did that. I played my fun team. It went down in flames like I thought it might. And then today I played the Worlds, and I did much better. I ended up 3-2.
Okay.
And so I finished 12th.
Fantastic.
So I guess I'm officially 12th in the world.
Yeah, there were a lot of 3 and 2s.
Yeah.
This match. I was not one of them.
Yeah.
I was a 2 and 3.
Oh, okay.
But the 2 and 3 did get me 12.
12?
Or sorry, you're 12. 16.
16. But so you made the 16 cut.
I made the 16 cut, but there was no real 16 cut. It was a surprising.
Yeah.
Because they cut to top 8.
Oh, okay. But I mean, you got a prize.
I got a prize.
Yeah.
I got a participation prize. I got another prize. Prizes all around.
Prizes have been neat. Yeah. I scored a super ultra rare purple stripe card.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was signed.
Yeah, signed by the
Mike,
maker of the game, right?
Eric Lang.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. So,
Very cool.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you're playing Popper?
I am playing Popper. I just finished Global Escalation. I came 2 and 2 in that, which was very fun. I'm playing a team that I didn't make because I didn't have time to make one. So a friend of mine made it, and wow, it's a good team.
It's Global Escalation is an interesting format, and I did not build a team for it. I did not expect to make top cut, and just figured I would draft, so that's what I ended up doing. So
Yeah.
I was offered teams by several folks that were in the top cut. They offered me their teams to play, but it's just not my format.
Yeah. So you had a fun drafting.
I had fun drafting. I got 2 drafts in, and I've been taking some time to get some audio with folks that are here. So really appreciate it, Ryan. Is there anything you wanted to share with the listeners?
No, I just want a big shout out to everybody that I met here, especially to Nick, who has been the sole judge and runner of all of these events. He's, we get to take breaks in between games, and he has to stand watch over everything. He's been on his feet the whole time, all weekend, and my hat's off to him, and I just thank him so much for helping us out.
Absolutely. Nick has been fantastic. Nick Jackalope Span, our head judge, as he was at Gen Con. So thanks, Ryan. Really appreciate your time.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So how has the World's experience been for you guys this year? I know you were here last year. How's it going?
It's pretty good. Little dissatisfied with the World's results as far as I go, but Nationals and Global Escalation were pretty fun.
Your team was really interesting, Ian.
I mean, yeah, it was a little off. I just trying to build something that might do something somewhere, and Russell Love talking about that common anti-monitor, and it was just, what can we do with that? It sounds like fun. I mean, if nothing else, I can try to get tokens out. And then offhand comment by Nick the other day, brought that uncommon deathbird in, and so it was a fun team though. I mean, didn't do too well today, but it was fun.
We only had one Master Mold card for our entire group of 5, so Dwayne claimed it. So I got one on eBay last week, and I was just glad that it arrived before World started. But it only works if you roll it consistently, which I had trouble yesterday. Today I rolled it better, ended up finishing 9th place, which was almost enough to get in, but better than yesterday. And then I didn't prepare for global escalation at all, and actually did pretty good. Only lost 1.
Fantastic. It's like, those master molds are hard to come by. So
yeah, we ended up pulling 1 as one of the promo prizes, and now we have 3. So, but they're probably going to ban it soon, so who knows?
I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to ban it amongst our local...
Yeah, we will not be playing that card anymore as a group. We will... Yes. Had it not been for this, it would have been banned the day we opened it.
Actually, I think we did say nobody can play it. I think Pete played it one night, and it was ridiculous, and we said, okay, that's it. I mean, I remember trying to sit down with Gazer and then trying to intimidate, and I just can't keep pace with that. But I think you're right, Luke, and I think there's got to be something coming down the pipe to counter it.
Yeah. Well, first off, hats off to Heroclix and all the guys that put this thing together, because they did an awesome job. Nick and how he'd run it. I mean, for the less experienced players like myself, he explained things pretty well, and so hats off to him. So, and yeah, I ran a Master Mold team as well, and Nationals yesterday ended up in 8th. Didn't do so well today. I think I got 11th. But yeah, just a great event overall.
the dice have to roll. It's part of the problem. And I know it doesn't matter if it's a Master Mold die or a Thor die or a Barry die or any other type of die. If it doesn't roll, you're not going to have a very good day. So, but we're here with Lucan too.
Oh yes, and we're here with Jocelyn too from Double Double.
So this is a double podcast interview. We have to probably hear multiple versions of on multiple podcasts. But Lucan, you made it to top 4.
I did make it to top 4. But I guess we can talk about this. There's an announcement happening right now, but maybe we can come back and reconvene after the announcement or after the last game. Yeah.
So I'm here at the Graceland Exhibition Center with the Zanks.
Yep.
We've got Henry.
Yep.
And Henry's dad.
Robert.
Yep. Henry's dad.
From Nashville. Yep. Henry's dad.
Yep. From Nashville, and we first met you guys 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
You can believe that, because it feels like yesterday, and I keep talking to people that says we were here last year.
That's
But
right.
if it was last year, Henry, you've grown a lot. You're a lot
Yeah.
taller. I think you're taller than I am now.
Yep. He might have added a foot in the last 3 years. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
For sure. So how have you guys found the weekend so far?
It's been pretty good, but I could make a better team for the event.
Yeah, we definitely learn a lot when we come to competitive play. I'm really just here for the barbecue chicken nachos that they make at the deli counter out front. The Gladys's seasoning is just incredible. I love
Is it really good?
It's pretty good. It's good for Graceland Exhibition Center.
So you
no,
come
we
down
enjoy
from
it.
Nashville, so you're basically local.
Yeah, we're
It's like
close.
4 hours?
It is, yeah. 3.5, 4 hours from where we are. And Henry gets out of school a little bit. His grades are good, so he does just fine. And, we don't get to play a lot locally at home. So I think we've taught probably 4 people back home, trying to get it to grow. And every time we come here, there's so many extras. We bring it back and keep trying to grow the game and get more people to play. But we definitely give away more cards than we even have. So it's good.
That's awesome. So what have you been playing? Did you play in all the events, Henry?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you played in U.S. Nationals. And how did that go?
I didn't do
What
great.
team did you have?
A Master Molds team.
National team. And you won your first couple. And I think it put him in a harder bracket, harder table. I lost my first 2, and then I won my last 3. So we kind of flipped. But, we have one Master Mold between us. So he ran the Master Mold. I did the Thor. And it was fun. He wins at home. But here, when we faced off, I've won. So I get to take that home.
Did you play the same teams today?
Yes, we kept going with our same team, so that was all right.
And then you played in Global Escalation.
Yes, ma'am.
How did that go?
I also didn't do great.
I seem to recall you soundly thumping me in Global Escalation last time with your Colossus Hope Summers team.
Yeah, I did pretty good with that.
What was your team this time?
I had Master Molds, Starro.
He uses Moon Knight to get a discount on Greenie, so he copies She-Hulk, and that way he can cycle his Starro each turn, which is pretty.
That's really
pretty
cool.
techy.
I like that. I love that She-Hulk. It's a fun piece to play with. Six of sometimes a reach, right?
We'll see
Yeah. It works really well with Starro and Master Molds because you keep bringing out the tokens.
Yeah, you keep fielding. And Greenie's a common, so maybe you can use her at Popper tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So you guys are going to play in Popper.
Play Popper, finish the weekend. Yeah.
And Henry has been like our expert dice and card organizer here. We've got this great donation bin full of extras from the draft, as many of us have flown here and are not interested in taking extras home. And I have never seen such well-organized dice in my life. So props to you, Henry.
Yeah.
They look fantastic. The podcast can't see it, but
I know.
But maybe we'll take a picture.
I've been stopped by TSA many times for having thick stacks of cards and dice. They never know what it is, so I'm sure people don't want to fly back. Yeah, it's funny.
We have to bring what we brought with us home.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, anything else you want to say to the listeners of the podcast?
No, we just hope the game keeps growing. I think the new style, the new layout will be interesting to a lot of people. Hopefully catch some eyes and get some more players. So we'll just keep trying to grow it.
Fantastic. And Henry, anything from you?
I don't really like the newer style of the cards and stuff.
It looks different, and we're going to have to adapt, right? So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you both so much. It was lovely to chat with you.
Thanks a lot. Good to see you again. Hopefully it's not in 3 years. Hopefully in maybe 1 year. Yeah. Okay. Right. Sounds good.
Bye. Okay, I am here with Nick Wally, Jackalope Spam. It is Sunday morning. We have last talked we've talked like 400 million times this weekend, but we've last talked on mic on Thursday.
Yeah, it was
during the drafts.
Thursday, pretty much before everything started, before everyone started showing their hands for the competitive scenes.
Yeah. So since then, we've now had U.S. Nationals, which was won by Canadian Dana.
Yep.
General Nemesis.
Dana beat Andy May in the final in a real nail-biter. And then we've also had the Worlds event where Dana lost to Laurier in the final in another nail-biter.
Quite the match, I hear.
Yeah, the Master Mode is definitely big on the scene. But honestly, I'd say that the Rare Deken is bigger because it tones down and makes things slower and you can set up or control the game. He's probably the best control piece at the moment.
As long as he's in your used pile.
As long as it's in your used pile. And I know a lot of people were saying, oh, you could just mutation it in and trick them around. And then how many people actually ran mutation? So, yeah, I think their bluff was called on that.
There's ways around it.
Yeah.
I brought mutation. I was not playing Master Mold. Rob was playing our Master Mold, which he took to top 8. And, but mutation can be easily used against you if you've got a smart player. So you've got to be really strategic in how you use it, when you use it, and is there another valid target because of the Wonder Woman Global, which allows you to retarget an action die.
Yeah, the Wonder Woman Global is a little contentious, and I'll leave it at that, but there will be something hopefully showing up soon in the rules forum concerning how Wonder Woman should interact when concerned with the mutation action itself.
Wonder Woman herself or Wonder Woman Global?
Wonder Woman the Global, that is. And so but I'd say Deken is probably the bigger meta piece, and all leading up to this, people have discounted it because, well, you could just do this to stop it, and honestly, you could probably put it on a lot more teams than just the Master Mode team. though it does fit very well because the top Master Mold teams are running Deken to stop the massive damage spike, but then also Villainous Pact so that they can get around the wall. And so that's always been the thing. Some of these Master Mold teams, it's been nail biters because you got to decide when are you going to attack, because you're probably going to lose tokens and create a better field advantage for your opponent on their next turn. And so how do you get in without losing your field presence? And Villainous Pact has been the way. People are actually using it for more than a global. Can that be a new thing just for the global? Villainous Pact is not just a global?
More than a global, not just
More than a global?
Yeah, I'm with you. I hear it.
Trademark, I said it first.
All right. Nick, you heard that here first. Nick said it first. So we saw a lot of Master Molds. We did not see nearly as many Barry Allens as we expected.
No, but there was one that made top 8. And he was seeded in the top 4 after Swiss, going 4-1. So Barry is still a thing. I think there were just more people playing Master Mold. I think to truly get a better, say, sample of it, we would need more Barry teams. People just chose Master Mold because it was perhaps the easier one, not necessarily because it was the better one.
I find that Barry teams can be a glass cannon in my experience of playtesting them. They can fire off really well, and if they don't, then sometimes you're behind. The Master Mold team is tricky to work around. Talking to Rob, he chatted with me about the Master Mold mirror match and how that was actually the most strategic sort of chess game that he got to play, not because the other teams weren't good, but maybe they just weren't the best matchups. And for myself, I was playing Thor, and Thor can still hold his own against a Master Mold, particularly if you can get it to fire fast.
Yeah, I definitely agree that with the Master Mold, it is up there in the meta, and the mirror match is very chess-like, because it is that when do you attack? Do you sacrifice your tokens? Can you find a way to get through their blockers in some way? I had always been looking at range when I was building and testing, but I wasn't doing as seriously as other people, and that's where the Villainous Pact came in. And then, Barry is kind of a glass cannon where I think if you get that firing on all cylinders, it can win faster than Master Mold, but it needs to win faster, and otherwise Master Mold will probably win out the longer game in many cases.
I don't think the meta is as solved as people are maybe assuming it is for those that were not here this weekend. Those of us that have been here this weekend and have seen the various teams and how they have played out. And I mean, with any team, regardless of how strong or not strong it is, rolls make the difference. If you can't roll, whatever it is, Thor whiffing 3 times in a row, not that, personal experience at all or nothing.
Yeah, nobody did that, of course.
Never. Not me in my last round of Swiss against Rob. Certainly not.
Yeah, and there were some creative teams around, too. If you look at the U.S. Nationals teams, Ian made top 8 with a Deathbird anti-monitor team that was completely off meta and still did very well. I forget where he ended up yesterday in the Worlds, but people listening to this podcast can go look at the stats and everything I've already posted. But there's still a decent number of teams and back and forth. I think, honestly, the one solving point I might say is you really need to consider playing your Deken or knowing how you're going to play against Deken. I think that's had the biggest splash on the meta.
I would agree wholeheartedly after this weekend, for sure. So this is your second event for Wizkids as judge, head judge, sole judge, all the judging, Mr. Judge. How has that been for you? Have you enjoyed your experience?
I mean, Jimmy's here. I'm not completely by myself. He's sat down and watched a number more Dice Masters matches than the Heroclix. So we are not forgotten. But otherwise, I think things have run smoothly. I think I might have mentioned this in the Thursday interview, but a lot of the contentious questions were brought up, and I noticed them somewhere in socials or someone asked me, and I just put them in the forum to see, does this work? Some people were a little bit coy with their questions of checking if it worked for a different card than they intended, but we checked and got things through a very active rules forum. And so most of the times that someone had a question, it was just, all right, this is what they just said, clarifying the card, and this is how we play it. In pretty much all except one case, but like I said, that's going to hopefully show up soon. I hope they keep some momentum on the rules forum, though. Honestly, if they take a little bit of a break until Secret Wars really pops up, it's not going to be too much of a problem. We don't have the big events coming up. Or do we?
Here's hoping. So with all of that said, Nick, I want to thank you for taking your time to chat with me, for judging today. I know you've got Pauper coming up, so you probably need to get in there and get yourself organized for our massive Pauper event that's coming. And I've got a Heroclix to play, so thanks so much. And anything else you want to add?
No, not at this time, but that Heroclix event looks pretty sweet. Kind of wish we got some of that for Dice Masters, but I don't know that it would work.
I've chatted with Jimmy, and I know that he has said that they have big plans for OP for next year. So hopefully we will see something interesting. And yeah, thanks so much.
I think there's another thing we could try to, at least fan-made, we could try to steal. The Heroclix team events seem to be very popular on that side of the room. And I think we could try and do that too with the Dice Masters community, do an online best 2 out of 3 like they're doing.
I think there's definitely a sealed or draft style team event that we might be able to do in future, and I think that would be super cool. Hopefully Wizkids will come up with some way to do that. So thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
I am here with Laurier, CCM quadruple 7, fellow DM Norther, and he is our world champion for Dice Masters. So congratulations, Laurier, on your win.
Well, thank you very much, Jocelyn. I am humbled to have won against so many great players.
It was quite the weekend for you. So this is your second time coming down to the World Championships. You came down in 2019.
Correct.
So what was different about 2019 versus 2020 in the experience, not necessarily the gameplay?
Well, 2022, essentially, overall in the experience side, we had an extra day, which actually made it feel less rushed than 2019. 2019, it felt like it was over as soon as it began. Because if you remember 2019, Friday was 10-10, then Global Escalation, and then Saturday was Worlds, and then Sunday was Pauper and done. So it was a blitz, whereas here, okay, I arrived Wednesday evening, then Thursday, I had time to do the tour, and then, do some drafts after a horrendous lineup, but that's a different story. But after that was done, then everything went pretty smooth from there, and yeah, it was paced where it was a more relaxed pace, gave us more time to talk and enjoy each other's presence.
Yeah, I would agree with that a lot. I found that I got to draft a lot more this event than I did in the past, and I did bow out of US Nats to play in Heroclix, and I'm playing in Heroclix today, so I'm bowing out of Pauper due to some of those lineup challenges we had on Thursday, because I was hoping to play the Heroclix on Thursday. But either way, I got a bunch of drafts in, and I got to play in some competitive events. So how did US Nationals go for you?
U.S. Nationals was interesting because I'm not going to go too much into play-by-play, but I was running a Barry team, and I was always intending on that not being my Worlds team. I was using it to test the meta, seeing how it would react to a team that was really shock and awe. So Ram, Ramp, and Removal, that was the team. That's all that I was doing. And so it actually went pretty well considering that. I actually made top 8 with a 3-2 record. Got 6th seed, then paired up against Arj, which was my worst possible matchup of the top 8. So I didn't make it past top 8, but I got to see what I needed to see. It gave me the insight I needed to then choose which team to pivot to that night. So that was the U.S. Nationals. Great experience, great players, obviously. I could go on and on about the quality of the players I faced. Fantastic time, but yeah, it was the test run. It was the test run for me.
And then, of course, you came into Worlds, and instead of running Barry, you decided to run Master Mold.
Yes, it was one of 2 teams I was considering. It was between that and Thor, and Andy could attest to that when he walked in the room on the night before Worlds. I was actually frantically playing against myself with running both teams at the same time on the hotel bed, trying to figure out what I was doing. So it was a last-minute decision to give the nudge to Master Mold and go for that at Worlds.
Yeah, and I think that it was probably the right decision since it got you the World Championship.
Yeah, I'd say that it couldn't have turned out any better.
I will say that you and I got to play in Worlds. We played in second round. I had won my first game with my Thor team. You had won your first game with your Master Mold team. And it didn't go perfectly for me. I think it went pretty close to perfectly for you. But overall, it was still a close matchup. I think there was probably a chance that had you made one miss of your roll, I might have been able to take that game.
Yeah, and that's what I've been noticing when I was testing with the Thor team. If there is a slightest hiccup on the Master Mold side and the Thor team rolls well, the Thor team can absolutely take it. And you played it textbook. You played it as well as you could, and you actually got me down, I think, to 6, something like that. So it was you played it textbook. I was on the thinnest of margins here, and so you ran your team really well. I mean, honestly, it deserved a better fate.
Well, I really appreciate that. Unfortunately, on my third match, not this is about me, this is about you, I had to play Patrick, and neither of us had ramp, so it made it a little bit challenging, which was something I knew coming in might be a challenge. But you, for your team, you chose to bring all of the ramp that you needed.
Yeah, I was bringing Villainous Pact, I was bringing Sinister, I was bringing Dark Phoenix. I didn't bring Wolverine. I instead chose to bring some more utility to help me counter some of the threats I was identifying in the meta. I put Typhoid Mary to counter Deken, among other things, which I know Arj did as well, and a couple of others. I think I'm the only one in top 8 who brought the rare Tombstone for the Intimidate, which actually was a huge help in round 1 because I was up against Shadow Meld and his Wonder Woman team, so I was actually using that to intimidate her out, and actually using the Intimidate along with Villainous Pact is also a little bit of a dirty play, let's just put it that way. It worked out quite well. I got the win against him, and that set me up for the rest of the day.
So at the end of top 8, you said you were 3-2? No.
I was actually at 3-2 for both US Nats and Worlds, but I had crazy strong strength of schedule. I mean, during US Nats, my only losses were against number 2 and 3 seed, and in Worlds, my only losses were against the number 1 and 5 seed. So I had very strong strength of schedule. So that gave me the edge I needed to crack top 8, and then I made the most of my opportunity from there.
Yeah, so fantastic. Well, congratulations, Laurier. Is there anything you want to add to the listeners, to Wizkids, that you want to add to this really positive experience that you've had this weekend?
Well, first of all, a huge shout out to Jordo, who took the time to help me practice so much, because honestly, he couldn't be there because of all sorts of issues with travel. So huge shout out to Jordo. Thank you for taking so much time to help me practice. It's very much appreciated. You're the reason I got there, man. And then on top of that, quick shout out to Troy, who is the reason I actually had a Master Mold in the first place, because I had the hardest time getting him. And so Troy, I know you couldn't be here either. Thanks a lot, man. And also, last shout out I want to give out is to Nick, aka Jackalope Spam, the head judge for the weekend. He ran a very tight ship. I mean, honestly, it was I know he was saying, oh, it's because everyone just knew how to roll it. I've seen events with judges where every player knew what to do and where the judge just did it wrong. Nick did it just right. Sure, there were always going to be tiny hiccups, but those hiccups, as far as I'm concerned, are barely even stumbling blocks, because it was a fantastic weekend overall.
Great, and I guess hopefully we will see you at 2023, if and when it is announced, to defend your world title.
I cannot make any promises because it always depends on the family and everything else. Honestly, also another shout out to my wife. I can't believe that she actually let me go this year with everything that's going on at home. So thank you so much, Andrea. I love you. And thank you so much to my mother-in-law as well for flying in to help her out with the 5 kids. So, I don't know how things will go for next year. I'm taking it a day at a time. If I get the opportunity, you can be sure I'll do my best to make it.
Fantastic. Thank you, Laurier, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
So I am sitting in Gladys's Cafe and Diner at Graceland Exhibition Center with Jimmy Darwin O'Brien, Senior Product Manager for Wizkids. Hey, Jimmy.
Hey, Jocelyn. How's it going?
It's going great. How's it going with you?
Doing pretty good. Been a fun weekend so far.
It has been it's over basically for me. I think you have a lot of cleanup.
I get to do some cleanup, yeah.
So we had 4 full days of Heroclix and Dice Masters, and how do you think it went?
I think it went well. I think everybody who showed up, for the most part, had a great time. You know, there was a little bit of bumpiness with lines and stuff, but I think people were generally pretty understanding, which is always wonderful.
Yeah, good stuff. And then, lots of events. like a lot of stuff was going on this weekend. So, this is a Dice Masters podcast, so as curious as I am about some of the Heroclix stuff, I'm going to save that for off mic because I don't think the Dice Masters players want to hear about Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. But from Dice Masters' perspective, we did a lot of drafting of Superman Kryptonite Crisis. We did, of course, the U.S. National Champions, the World Championship, and then today we had Pauper. So it was a really packed schedule, but being over 4 days was spread out really well, and I got a lot of really good feedback that the 4 days was really nice. So I hope that's something Wizkids will consider in the future.
Yeah, no, we look forward to doing more 4-day events in the future. And, speaking of that packed schedule, between the kind of the tour package and the tournaments, we're really hoping that any type of player could show up and feel like they had a good full 4 days. So if all you want to do is play Worlds, but, you still got a day to do the tour stuff, whether it's in Memphis or here at Graceland, and we think that's wonderful. If you're someone who's very casual and you don't want to play that, ultra competitive Nationals World stuff, you're going to be able to go ahead and take the tour then and do the side events for the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. And lots of great and interesting side events for Heroclix, and hopefully we'll see something like that in future for Dice Masters, something a little bit offbeat. Like maybe 10 and 10 will come back one day.
Yeah, maybe 10 and 10 will come back. I mean, I think Dice Masters has more well-defined side event formats than Heroclix did, so the Heroclix stuff was more offbeat as a result of that.
No, but it was great. It was a lot of fun. I think everybody was having a lot of fun, whatever events you were playing in. And certainly for Dice Masters, it was great to see some new faces coming into the event, as well as newer players that maybe were a little bit less experienced but decided to jump in anyway. I'm thinking of Larry, for example, from Dice Masters. Newer player, plays at home, jumped into U.S. Nationals and just went at it, and it was great to see that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And it's funny, the new players were a variety of skill levels because Dana had not played an in-person event before. He'd only played online, got into it as a casual to begin with, and had a really heck of a run this weekend, coming in first in Nationals and second at Worlds.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think of Dana as a new player because as a fellow Canadian, I see him online all the time, but he is. This was his first in-person event, right? So
yeah.
We also had Todd and John, who made top 8 at Worlds, and it was their first in-person event as well. So that was really great to see. I love to see new folks, and I hope more people will continue to come and try it out.
Me too, and I'm kind of hoping that everybody's able to bring back that excitement to their local communities and foster the fun at their local scenes.
Yeah, for sure, and I know that I'm looking forward to, now that sort of the travel and convention season is basically done, that we'll be running some more regular events at my home store in Mississauga, Ontario. So looking forward to that, and I'm sure Kim is as well.
Yeah, do we want to give the local store a shout out?
Sure, it's Game Time Collectibles in Mississauga, Ontario. So
awesome.
Shout out to Will, who's our store owner and super engaged and really wanting to make Dice Masters something in Toronto again.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, fantastic. So we did go to the fan appreciation event on Friday, and we got to see some new Secret Wars spoils. So that was really exciting.
So one of the things I've been getting questions about since the fan appreciation event was a little bit of what's the deal with the full art stuff that we're seeing. And so Ultimate Spider-Man is a good example where the common version is him in the black costume, and then the alternate is just him as kind of Miles Morales with the hoodie. And so that's going to be a similar, rarity schema as we saw with Harley Quinn in Kryptonite Crisis. But there's going to be more good stuff more frequently in the Secret Wars draft packs than there were even in compared to Kryptonite Crisis.
So we're going to see full arts outside of the just common blanks ones.
Yeah, outside of the common blank ones. And those ones that are the alternate arts, like Ultimate Spider-Man and Star-Lord, Star-Crossed Lovers, those are going to be that premium rarity with the different art on them.
So they're not actually textless because they actually have card text as part of the game.
So
game text.
They are textless, though. No,
Yeah,
they are textless.
The card itself is textless.
Oh, yes, the card itself
but it's
is
not
textless.
blank in the way that like a Harley Quinn blank was just a full art treatment for a blank card. So
Correct.
we're going to see that as part of the normal, right? The common textless type thing.
Yeah. So
then also there'll be other rarities.
Right. So we're when the card has no text to begin with, we're just completely removing the text box. It's just kind of extra information.
Yeah. So there'll be like a premium level of textless as well as the sort of common level of textless.
Correct. Yes.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. And that's new. I didn't realize that before, so that was great information. Of course, we get to see God Emperor Doom, which is really exciting.
Yeah, very very happy to have him in Dice Masters.
I am so excited to see all this Fantastic Four stuff, and I mean, I think we've seen God Emperor Doom, we've seen Franklin's Galactus, and we've seen the Invisible Woman. So I'm sure there is more of the Fantastic Four to come.
We're going to see some more Fantastic Four allies, more Fantastic Four, Sheriff Strange. Yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out.
Yeah, for sure. Really exciting. And we can't wait for that to hit out, especially with the new format design. So
yeah,
I guess that will be coming soon to be determined.
Yeah, Q4. You know, we're basically in Q4, but yeah, Q4.
So we're looking for the end of the year.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. Well, that's exciting. Well, we want to thank you and Wizkids for putting on such a great event. I want to put a shout out to Nick, who was our judge this weekend, and he did a great job keeping us all corralled.
Yeah.
Between, at one point on Saturday, he was running Worlds, Global Escalation, and drafts at the same time.
Yeah, no, he was doing a fantastic job all weekend.
I mean, in fairness, I was running the drafts, but he was still pulling the paper. But I'm just kidding. But we had a really great time. It was great to see everybody, and I just want to thank you guys for putting on this event, and we look forward to hearing about the 2023 date as soon as you have it available.
Yeah, no, and we want, even before the 2023, there's other convention attendances. We're looking forward to sharing that when we can.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thanks, Jimmy, for taking the time to sit down.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.
So that was some great audio, and we want to thank again Jocelyn for taking her time out to interview all these wonderful folks, and thank you to those wonderful folks for coming on and talking to Jocelyn. I am again, by myself today, but that's okay. You never know who might show up at my door. Oh, there is someone at my door. Who can that be? Hello?
Hi, I'm back.
Jocelyn, you're back.
Did you miss me?
I did.
How many times did you have to do the intro without me?
3.
That's a 50% improvement over last time. Congratulations.
Yeah, well, we had some laughing going on, and but it was fun. Matt was nice enough to come on.
Oh,
so yeah, I was by myself, but I had a visitor. So
well, I'm super glad that you weren't completely lonely while I was away. We missed you.
I know. I was. Yeah, I wish I was there.
Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. We'll see.
Maybe next year you can sort it out. We missed Matt. We missed all of the folks that didn't make it this time that were there last time. And of course, where there was what you had just, I guess you've just heard all that audio, right, Kim?
Yeah. Apologize for our podcast being late this week, but yeah, I listened to all of it. So
yeah,
good stuff there.
Yeah, so we spoke to a whole bunch of folks, or I spoke to a whole bunch of folks when I was down at
I was there in spirit.
Memphis. You were there in spirit. And I didn't get to speak to everybody, and there's some folks we still need to connect with. So, of course, we haven't chatted with Dana yet, and we will definitely connect with Dana to get him on the podcast because he had quite the run there with U.S. Nationals, and would love to, and also with Worlds, and I would love to get him on the podcast. So we'll sort that out sometime soon. But in the meantime, big thanks to all those folks that sat down with me. It was a really hectic weekend, Kim. Like, it went by so fast. Rob and I headed down to Memphis a couple of days early just so that we had some time to sort of chill out and do some things, on our own and sort of be tourist before the trip. We traveled Monday to Monday, so we had Tuesday and Wednesday. It wasn't until like late Wednesday people started arriving. So we had a couple of days to chill out and be tourists and all that fun stuff. So that was cool. And then Wednesday night, everybody started arriving, and then it just turned into a great big Wizkids event. So huge thanks to everyone that we hung out with, we ate dinner with, we kept company, all that fun stuff. And Rob and I, as you know, Kim, and as our listeners know, we play Heroclix now too. So we were like the bridge between the Heroclix and the Dice Masters players. So now we have this like cross Heroclix Dice Masters amazingness happening, where Dice Masters players know Heroclix players and vice versa, and are all talking and being more social than they have been in the past, which I felt was really fantastic. So So should I tell you just a little bit about my experience while we were there, Kim?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as I said, Wednesday we all hung out and we had drinks by the pool and chilled out for the Wednesday night as people were arriving and meeting people, and that was great. Thursday, of course, was opening day. Things started at 2:00 for registration. I don't want to get into it too much, but there were some challenges with registration. It was a little overwhelming. The lines were quite long. We've chatted with Wizkids and basically they were just overwhelmed by the response and the number of people that actually showed up on Thursday, which was not what they were expecting. So they're looking at how they can make that better and smoother for future.
Quick question.
Yes.
Is it one lineup for both the Heroclix and the Dice Masters?
It was one lineup for everything, yes.
Oh, yeah, they probably should split that. Yeah.
And the other thing that they did was they were letting people sign up for like their whole weekend's worth of events at once. So, and some of the events, particularly for Heroclix, had limits that had not been previously published. So one of the things that Rob and I had planned on doing on Thursday was the Heroclix X of Swords OP event, which is 3 months in an afternoon like we did at Gen Con. It was a lot of fun. We wanted to do it again, and we also wanted the opportunity to potentially win the month 2, month 3, and the second place prize. So we were planning to do that, and we were in line for a couple of hours, and then there was about, I don't know, maybe like 40 people in front of me, and they told us that the event had sold out.
Oh my gosh.
For that particular day. So that was kind of a bummer, but we turned it into a positive. Once we finally got registered, we did some Dice Masters drafts, and that was a lot of fun hanging out with the Dice Masters folks. There were no formal events aside from drafts planned for Thursday for Dice Masters. There were a couple of scheduled things for Heroclix, but Dice Masters just had drafts for Thursday.
They really need to do this online.
I think that they are working on some great ways to make this better in future.
Yeah.
So, Friday went much smoother because by that point, pretty well everyone had registered for their events. Friday was U.S. Nationals. As again, we talked about on the podcast previously, I wasn't playing in U.S. Nationals. I decided to play in Heroclix Team Sealed with my friends Emily and Asia. Our team was called Calm Your Clicks. We came in 22nd out of 57 teams, so we didn't make the cut. They cut to top 30. No, so they cut to top 16. We had a really great time playing. Rob played in U.S. Nationals and he did quite well. He made it to top 8. So congrats to Rob. And of course, the eventual winner was Dana, and he just was on fire. It was between him and Andy May in the final, and it was just a nail biter. So that game, most of it was recorded by the Dial H for Heroclix team and will come out at some point on their channel. So Dial H for Heroclix was running a whole bunch of Heroclix coverage for the event, and they also did a little bit of Dice Masters coverage as well. So if you do not follow Dial H for Heroclix on Facebook or YouTube, I'd encourage you to check them out because there will be some Dice Masters content coming down the pipeline from Worlds.
Dial H?
Dial H for Heroclix. H for Heroclix. Yep. So that was Friday. Then Friday night we had the fan appreciation event, which I live tweeted on behalf of dm-north.com. So you can find that on our Twitter feed under dmNorthTV. So some new spoilers for Secret Wars, but nothing further in the future about that. So we only saw Secret Wars stuff for Dice Masters. But there were some really cool new spoilers, and we'll talk about those in future. Saturday was Worlds. I did participate in Worlds. I did not have the greatest day. So I won my first match against Charlie. We had a great game. I lost my second match against Laurier, eventual world champion. But I will say it was very close. I got him down to 6 life. So he was playing Master Mold and I was playing Super Rare Thor. I made one last minute change to my team that morning, which I regretted in hindsight. It didn't matter in my match against Charlie and Laurier, but it did matter in my match against Patrick, which was my 3rd round, and my 4th round against Ian, is I took Dark Phoenix off my team. So I had a way to get 6 energy on turn 2 to purchase my Thor at full price. I stuck with that strategy when I played Ian, and I ultimately won that game. But when I played Patrick, I had probably what would be the best perfect first roll, and then re-rolled it and messed it all up, and then I couldn't get to my Thor, so I was on the back foot. So I lost to Patrick. I won against Ian. Really great game against Ian. Ian was playing in a very off-meta team with the common anti-monitor that when it attacks, you KO things. So it was really interesting how he was playing that game. But my Thor just kind of overwhelmed him, and then I was able to sort of push through to get him to 1 life, and then unfortunately he bag burned, and that was the end of the game.
You mean you didn't have Rare Bizarro as your backup?
I did not have Rare Bizarro as my backup. And then in my 5th round, I was matched up against none other than Rob. Because this is the way. This is what happens. We either match in Swiss or we match in Top Cut. That's just how things generally work out for us, and that's fine. I did give Rob a run for his money. Rob was playing Master Mold, and he had a really great team that he and I had brewed together. So it helped that I knew how it worked and was able to sort of do what I could around it. But I whiffed Thor 3 turns in a row, both rolls.
That hurts.
And that hurts. So if it wasn't for that, it could have gone a different way, because at one point he whiffed his Master Mold as well. So it was very close. We both were playing very strategically, and we had a really great time playing. Rob made Top Cut. He made 8th place. I did not. I made 16th. I got a random super rare. Yay.
What'd you get?
Lowest lane.
Okay.
Available for trades. And then I did a bunch of drafts. So I drafted while Rob was playing Top Cut because I can't watch. It makes me anxious. So I let him play his game. He had to match against Dana, who was top seed, and he lost, but he said he had a great time. He played a couple drafts with us after. And that was Friday. That was Saturday, sorry. And then, before you knew it was Sunday morning, and what was left was Pauper, and we bowed out of Pauper so that we could go over and play that X of Swords event that we had not been able to get into on Thursday. The Pauper event seemed like it was a lot of fun. I skipped Global Escalation. I have no interest in that.
Nobody does.
I just
me and you.
Anyway. No, I have no interest in that format whatsoever. I understand that there's some people that love it, and power to them. So I drafted instead. And then, so we did the X of Swords on Sunday morning. I didn't have a great event for that. I was having a real rough time. My dice were super cold. I wasn't rolling anything higher than 3s or 4s, which was not hitting any of my opponent's characters. I ended up doing not horribly. I placed 25th out of 40, so it could have been worse. But Rob did quite well. He placed 6th. He won month 2 and month 3, which were the 2 prizes we were missing. And by placing 6, he got the other grand prize that we didn't have. So between us, we now have all of the grand prizes from that event. So that is pretty awesome. And then that was it. People started to filter their way home. Everything rounded up around 2 p.m. As we mentioned, Laurier is our world champion. Dana is our U.S. Nationals champion. I don't think I mentioned that Petrus from Ottawa won Pauper. So the Canadians really showed their skill this weekend. Yep. So aside from Global Escalation, which was won by Patrick, we swept the weekend. So 3 out of 4 events were won by Canadians. Go Canada. And there was only 5 of us there. So 5 out of 22 or 23 unique players. So anyway, so congrats to all of the winners. And it was great to see everybody. It was great to meet people we hadn't met before. Ryan came, Raw Travel, from California. And we had, I met Charlie before, but Charlie came directly from Disney World in Florida. From his vacation
from Disney World.
So that was good. And there were some new players like Larry and Slade who played in drafts, and I think Larry played in US Nats, and there was a couple of other folks, and it was great to see everybody. It felt like yesterday that we were there together, and it was actually 3 years ago, so that was great. Everyone just fell back into hanging out and having a good time, and it was amazing. And Wizkids put on a good event, and I think they've got some takeaways to make it maybe a little bit better in future. But overall, it went pretty smoothly after that first day. So we had a great time. We traveled home on Monday. We were really lucky. Our travel in and our travel out was perfectly smooth. No delays, no issues with baggage, no anything. So that was really great. And we had a great time. So, and I guess we should also congratulate the Heroclix World Champion, who is Saul from Mexico. So congratulations to Saul. He beat Isaac, the Heroclix Wunderkind from America, and Isaac is the U.S. national champion. He won at Gen Con, and Saul managed to just edge him out in that last game in the Heroclix. So congrats to him as well.
I was listening for a Canadian one, the Heroclix, but
no,
they're probably more diverse all over the world, I guess.
Yeah, there were some people from Italy. As well as the people from Mexico. Of course, lots of Americans and fellow Canadians were there. Do want to put a shout out to the Canadian National Heroclix champion, Emily, who was on my Team Sealed team. She made the top 32 cut out of 168 players with her team and then lost in her top 32 game. But amazing placement for her. She's the only Canadian that made the top 32. That was playing, so congrats to her. She did a fantastic job, and so proud of her. She's a local player to Toronto, and she's just a lovely person, and only woman and only Canadian that made the top 32. So yeah, nice. And that's basically it. I can't remember the team that won Team Sealed. I know Azareth was on that team, but I can't remember who his teammates were. But congrats to them. They did a great job in Team Sealed. And it was just a really great weekend overall. So if you have never been to this event and you're not like a huge competitive player, or you're not necessarily into the meta, or you don't think you're good enough to go, please know that you are. Dice Masters is a very friendly group of players. We are welcoming to new players. We want everybody to come and have a good time. In the competitive events, we're probably not going to go easy on you. You're gonna work for it. But in the drafts and things like that, you're going to be welcomed and friendly, and people are going to just hand you loads of stuff that you maybe don't have. Come out, play, have a good time. One of the great things about this weekend was that on Sunday, the Mississippi crew brought their sons with them. So Chip and Brennan came to the Pauper event and played in Pauper. So that was really cool to see. They had a great time. They had a lot of fun hanging out with their dads and their dads' friends and things like that. So, it's a very friendly place. Henry played in all the events, and Henry, Bob Zank's son, much taller than he was last time I saw him 3 years ago, but it was great. So, come have fun, be social, introduce yourself, and let's all hang out and play these games we love together. The more the merrier.
Nice.
So
sounded awesome.
Yeah, and we missed you, and we missed all of those folks that couldn't make it, and understand that there's lots of reasons why people couldn't be there, but hopefully next year we can coordinate it and more folks can come. So
more Team Canada.
Yep, more Team Canada, more team everywhere. So hopefully we will be able to coordinate that. So once we have the dates available. So with that, I think that's all we're going to cover today, Kim, because this has been a pretty long episode, hasn't it?
Yeah. So for all those who hung out with us through this whole episode, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. We appreciate listening and hope you enjoyed the audio I was able to capture at the event. So I guess we'll let you know where you can reach out to us, and you can provide us feedback, and where you can find us in all those places. So you can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at dmNorthTV. And I've heard rumors that TikTok might actually be happening, but I don't know what we're
or it's there. Who knows?
So, maybe check it out, dmNorthTV. Maybe it exists if you're a TikTok person. You can send us an email at triple-dpodcast@dm-north.com. You can find us on Discord through our Discord channel, dmNorthTV, or you can also at Kim, who is at SuperK, or at me, who I'm at JoceStitch, JOCE Stitch. You can find us on YouTube and Twitch at dmNorthTV for both recorded and live content. And also the Etsy store is back up and running if you're looking for a dice bag. So you can head over to etsy.com/shop/JoceStitch, JOCE Stitch, to place your dice bag order. So until next time, on a double on dice.